Do you know when the Lord is due to be back? I know you've mentioned this before, but
at this point, he only has like the clouded visions, and based on the pieces that do come to him, it's obviously not all clear. It's just kind of parts and pieces. He thought the Lord had returned from his hunting trip.
To the hunting cabin. The cabin of Hexter.
The hunt is on.
Do you fear that your Lord was the vampire in the basement that we murdered?
Based on his...
Murder.
It's true. You told us.
His description.
Based on putting the pieces together in the way that you guys have described it, and the situation in the house right now, he's facing the facts. He assumes that's what happened, and he basically had used his ability to dominate key members of the house to keep the house running as he saw fit.
Put your hand on his shoulder and just be like, sorry for your loss.
Who's next in line? Who's going to be running this house?
That is his concern.
He has no
Valdaria
parents.
has no family.
Through distant lines, he's actually related to Lord Bathcombe.
You just walk in and be like, I'm your liege now.
How well can I bluff my way out of this? If I had glibness, yes.
I feel like I've heard of Lord
forgery.
Bathcombe.
You have anything in forgery? Forge yourself up a writ of patronage or whatever?
No, but I'm sure I could find something to do it.
I have 2 in forgery. I'm just saying.
Give it a shot.
We have a new base.
Just turn around in the room with the steward. Look what I found.
Do it on a napkin. It'd just be
Will you
hand it to him,
accept this?
and then hand him like a gold piece or 2, and just be like, here,
Look at
trust.
Look at me. I'm the captain. Oh, could be done. It could be done.
All right. Well,
I don't know.
nice knowing you.
That'd be
Any other questions I should ask? I don't
I
know.
don't think so. I think for now we're good.
Seem
We
good.
can always find him again.
Does he know of the gem of Hexter?
Why not?
Oh well.
Have you seen a big ass gem?
That's actually not a bad. Our original quest here, we're looking for a large magical item. Have you seen? Remember anything? Maybe it happened during your hazy phasey, but.
At your mention of this magic item, he goes, of course, even a paladin would require a reward. We do have, well, prior to my haze, we do have some items of value in the vaults below. I'd be more than happy to escort you down there. You're more than welcome to take whatever you'd like, given the fact that you did rescue the household. And you can see that he's torn by this fact. Just in his eyes,
Don't rob
it's
the house.
well,
He
it's
doesn't want to give everything.
he's willing to give you guys a reward,
Right.
but he's kind of trying to weigh the options. And he stops as he gets up. He starts to walk towards the door, and he stops and he turns to you he basically addresses the fact that you're a paladin, and he pleads with your
Self-righteous.
your belief in doing what's right.
Yes.
And he says, anything in the vault, all of the magic items, you're more than welcome to. They do nothing to enhance what we can do within the household. I only ask that you let me keep what meager coin is down there to keep the house running until it's determined who will be the successor.
We don't have
we don't
need
need
a
your
coin.
coin.
Throw some coin at
Says
him.
you.
F that.
Magic items.
And with that, he
Bathtub, you'll be fine.
No,
I'll just keep
roll,
quiet.
go
But
Scrooge
just
McDuck
go down there and be
in
like, I want this and this and this, and I get a tiara now.
he
We should just tease the rogue and show him the vault and say, not for you.
It's gonna be the whole Aladdin inside.
as he steps out the door,
Wonders.
he beckons you guys to follow. And as he steps out the door, he turns to one of the servants that's running in the hall, and he says,
Slow
Please.
down.
walk in the hallway.
No running in the pool area. He says,
You'll fall and chip your tooth.
please find Ronder. And
Help me, Ronder. Help
the
me.
it only takes moments before a very large man, older, in very much in armor and not like with sword drawn,
Right.
but you can tell he's on edge.
Ronder the barbarian.
He also, given the fact of your knowledge of nobility and what goes on, it's very clear that he is the captain of the guard.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
What happened to the other captain of the guard?
he was the master of arms. There's a difference.
Oh. What the fuck?
Get it right.
Or bath comb. Ah!
And when he approaches, he comes up to the steward, and you can see a very similar look in his face, a sense of loss. And you know, you've summoned me, sir. And the steward says that, you know, obviously they've handled a situation here. They should be rightly compensated. You know, let's take them down to the vaults. Let them take what they'd like. And it's very clear that while on one side he understands that it is an order and that it is right that you guys should be rewarded, but
It's like 9 of us.
he
It's like
no-
the-
9 rewards.
he nonetheless you know, agrees to escort you. And he asks you, you know, there's the 3 of you are there, if you'd like him to, you know, send the servants and you can gather your party to help carry that which
Should we only take,
Receipt.
should we only take
Several.
one item each?
Depends what's down
One
there.
magic
Are we all
item?
there?
No.
Not yet.
Well, we better be. I gotta praise
No,
the
we're
shit out of
just
this.
we're gonna decide for the whole group.
I roll listen, I hear through the floors. What loot? Okay.
Your loot sense
I feel
tingles.
like we need to converse with everyone and just let them know to keep it to
well,
an item only.
Yay, goody goody.
Let's there's servants running around. Or
well,
the
there
main-
are some.
The main guy.
Yep.
I'll ask him if he would be so kind as to send servants to
Gather
gather
the
our
party.
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody kind of, you know, a little bit of time passes. The steward is
We're all talking.
excused himself and stepped back into the room. The door is open. You can see that he's very crestfallen, sitting in the chair, hand on his head, just deep in thought and contemplation.
He just comes and finds us, and he's like, "I'm sorry, but you guys gotta get something." And it's like, "Loot, yes!" Ah!
Once you've gathered the party, he makes his way to the cellar, which is once again locked. He unlocks the door to the cellar. You travel down. You go ways you didn't go because Ross found a secret door.
Yay.
And you make your way through into what is obviously kind of like a wine cellar, and take a hallway out of the wine cellar, and it very, very well kept, well lit. And you travel down. There's a kind of a guard post with a small desk. There's no one at it currently. He unlocks the door behind the guard post, and you step into a hallway. And at the end of the hallway, it opens up into an armory. And along each side of the hallway, there are
More vampires.
Who's running the
Roll
bit?
for initiative.
Platinum and
4,
hours for mine.
5.
He's more than
There's
one.
More they
5
don't.
New England Patriots Super Bowl rings.
There's 5 doors off on each side, and they're heavy steel doors that are also, you know, you can very clearly see there is locks on them. And he turns to you and says, "Sir, would you like to see the armory first, or would you like to see what's in the vaults?"
What's behind door number 2?
However, one that the gold is off limits.
Yeah, no, we're not taking any coin. Should we? We don't want to bankrupt this house. How do you guys feel about one magical item each?
Are we still outside or did we?
No,
No, you
everyone-
guys are all
Everyone.
you've been gathered.
Just tap your shoulder and was like, "Loot."
They just lost their lord. We're not here to bankrupt them.
See my old alignment. Yeah, Tomadrill's good with that. And Jorgano? Yeah, he's good with that too. He's like, damn it, damn it, Lawful, good.
I can be convinced of such.
Take it.
You see, I just tell you.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
Well, I was there during the conversation, so I can understand.
Where's the robe in this relationship?
He's
got two black guys.
still standing, patiently awaiting your answer.
Sorry, we're conversing.
Yeah, no.
Not a great movie.
Conversing.
Did you understand now? No gold!
I ain't gonna be lawful good after this one.
Fell down a flight of stairs, one
We
at
gotta
each.
convince the rogue, I think, the most.
I haven't actually said I'm doing anything. I'm just like peaked of interest.
Hiding the massive erection.
Yeah. Sporting a good job. Saying
What? I actually got invited into a vault.
Smart in the
What
chest.
did you steal? You stole one thing. Did you like a vase or something?
I replaced it
Okay.
He stole it and he put it in somebody else's room.
just to fuck with him. It was great.
Damn it, Stephen, you asshole! You stole my vase.
His name is Nathan.
No, they're yelling at each
Oh,
other.
okay.
Maybe that 9 that I tried to seduce will be more receptive now.
Okay,
What do you
so where are
remember
we
from
gonna go
last
first?
night?
The armory
oh.
first?
The armory is
Armory.
not behind a closed door.
Oh,
And he
is
says,
there magic
certainly.
stuff in the armory?
And when you enter the armory, it's very much what you'd expect in a standard armory. There's, suits of armor on racks and
Is it
spears and swords. Nothing that
labeled, like
looks...
+1?
Nothing that looks... It's all very well maintained,
Right.
but nothing that looks exceptional.
Okay. Let's
So,
go look
screw that.
behind
Just-
door number 1!
I'm gonna detect magic.
You can keep detect magic up this whole time if you want. In the armory itself, nothing.
Okay.
I mean, there's items you guys have that you know are magical that would obviously glow, but as far as anything in the armory proper, there's nothing.
It's just a restocker, basically.
Your armory is very impressive. Let's see the other shit.
Not that impressive.
36.
So he just turns and he's going room to room, basically,
Yep.
down the hallway.
Quiver.
He unlocks the first door and opens it, and inside the door there's a gate, like more of like a portcullis style, like bars, like prison bars. And behind the prison bars are various art objects, things that you might see on display in the gallery. Obviously,
Do I recall what that covered painting actually looked like? Okay.
Excuse me.
Just that you thought it was
It was
fucking
pure
awesome.
magic.
I was just like, oh, this is a greatness.
but yes, I mean it's filled with art objects that obviously have value. Ross can definitely define that they have value. They're not. It's not like they're $1 million pieces, but there is value within.
A giant portrait that's like this tall from the floor up and just.
I want
Yes.
this.
This is going in my new house that I happen to bequeath.
Or just take it and just bring it out there to the hall and just foot through it. Okay, here. That's
And
my reward.
the captain of the guard turns to you and says, "Sir, would you like to go and?"
It's terrible.
The
Nobody
next
got.
one.
Is there anything magical in here?
No,
Just
Ross
nothing.
is detecting magic. I'll let you know when.
Okay. This is a very fine gallery. Let's check the next
Got
one.
my divining rod out.
I'm not
Exquisite.
really artsy.
The next room, he opens the door, and it's very similar, but behind are shelves covered with gems and jewels and jewelry.
I'm gonna spot, see if I notice anything that I happen to be looking for.
No,
Okay.
My rogue will step back there and like are these
18.
available? Like, or these? Yeah,
Did-
everything's available.
the steward said to give you whatever you guys wanted.
Okay.
It's like-
oh,
Yeah.
Is all the gems one item? Question.
They touch each other.
And we're like,
If
no,
I cover them
Nathan.
in cheese, are they all considered one gem?
okay. I will look for the most like what I would know is the most,
Most valuable.
expensive one.
What in your eyes?
Yes. And then while I do that, without anybody seeing, I'll
It's
try
like
to
this
slide up
really
ahead of
huge
that
one. He's like, ooh, but it's just
You
like.
they're behind a
dots.
gate.
They're behind dates.
He has to let you through the gate in order to get in there and pick
Well, I
something.
figured somebody would follow me in there and just like be around. But okay, no,
Yeah,
thank-
If you want, I mean, if you want to go in there, he'll let you in there.
yes, I want to.
But do you want to see what else there is first? I mean, you're welcome to it all if you want it all.
My rogue will go in there. He wants to take a gem.
But
Except-
we're like,
Did you see
no,
a rabbit over
Nathan.
there?
Well, you said I can take one thing.
All right,
otherwise-
so you've picked a gem.
Yes.
Okay.
I only had 2.
Well, you're gonna try to get 2. What was your sleight of hand?
Well,
19 is what he rolled.
Okay, if you rolled a 19, you
29. so
palm and 2 gems. Just write it on your character sheet. 2 gems from House Valaria.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all that's important. And as you pick the gem up, you pick up this giant gemstone, and the captain is like, "Wise choice. You have a good eye. Well cut stone there. Anything else, sirs?"
Sounds like he's being
No.
full of shit.
It's called limestone.
It's very precious in the southern areas.
No, lead us
The
on.
largest chunk of lapis lazuli.
Mark stays in the center room with all the locked doors now. He's not allowed to follow us.
Why? That's
You're
untrustworthy.
You're
So-
not trustworthy.
We got that for fun.
All right, I know who I'm gonna steal from later.
Next room.
Next room.
All right.
God, if only we could-
He closes back up, relocks the jewelry. He says, "If there's anything else you'd like from in there,
Just go
you're
ahead
welcome
and
to
let
it.
us-
Just let me know." And he kind of closes the doors and he's locking them.
Right.
Goes to the next door and he opens it, and this room has boxes with coin. Primarily copper. There's slightly less silver, slightly less gold, and then a box with some platinum and
No.
there's obviously funds in this room.
Yep. No, we're not.
Yeah, I'm not interested in coin.
We're not here for
Still no
Last room.
magic.
Last
Not the
room.
last room. Room
Oh.
number 4.
Next room.
I don't know, those are 4.
There's 5 rooms.
Damn it! I thought you said 3 of them were the armory rooms, though.
No.
Number 4.
That was
Well, obviously.
As they open the door, Ross, at this point it's just like no. Once once
There's
again,
something magic in there.
there's shelves. It isn't that much that's on the shelves. But he says, he put this is our magic repository where anything magical of value is kept.
I will peruse it.
Within the room, there are 6 scroll cases, a heavy steel shield, a long sword, 9 potions, a ring, 2 wands, and there's also a book on the far end, standing up vertically. It's very clear that it's very ancient. Very predominantly on the front of it is the symbol of Heronias.
Ooh.
Does this ring
I
perhaps
want
grant
that or the
one
shield.
point of strength?
Are you
Huh?
sad
Does
that
this
you
ring
eliminated?
perhaps grant 1 point of strength?
No, it does not.
Damn it.
See if
But you don't know that.
spot. Just
You,
go.
Can I try it
You
on?
appraise
Can I
it.
just try it on?
Try the book on?
No, the ring.
No, you can't just try the book
I
on.
have, like,
Can you tell me what the wands are?
Identify.
Mr. Magical fucking
yeah, I can.
operating shit guy?
If they're divine wands, I can tell what they are.
Or you could ask the guy who's in
Yeah.
charge of it all.
Like, what are all these items? Do you know?
Tell me.
Is
Tell
there-
me now.
Do they have label maker that made labels?
They're not labeled, but he knows what the vaults hold.
Okay.
And based on he's very proud that he knows what everything is. And there's a story that goes along with each one that I will spare you because I did not write that story, but each thing has a story attached to it. The first scroll case contains 3 scrolls. They are arcane scrolls: Cause Fear, Summon Monster 1, and Spider Climb. The second case also contains arcane scrolls, one of Identify and one of Pyrotechnics. The third case contains arcane scrolls: Magic Missile, Fox's Cunning, and Pyrotechnics. The fourth scroll case is Divine Spells, Bane and Endure Elements. The fifth is Divine Spells, Longstrider and Cure Moderate Wounds. The sixth is Divine Spells, Detect Snares and Pits, Desecrate and Locate Object. The Heavy Steel Shield is one as you now that you've gotten closer to it as he's explaining it, it's very evident that it's a smaller size. It was built for a small individual, a halfling perhaps, but it's said to magically protect. It's a +1, just so you know, but obviously
small.
it's a +1 small heavy steel shield. The longsword
That's interesting now.
he gives the story on, and it's a +2 longsword.
That's pretty awesome.
The potions.
I have a badass.
Potion of Blur, Potion of Bull Strength, Potion of Cure Light Wounds, Potion of Dark Vision, Potion of Eagle Splendor, Potion of Invisibility, Potion of Jump, Potion of Misdirection, and a Potion of Remove Fear.
Yeah.
The ring allows he who wears it to walk on water. It's a ring of water walking.
Well, ring of Jesus.
One of the wands is a wand of Cat's Grace. One of the wands is a wand of Fox's Cunning. And the book was one of Lord Veldarius's most prized treasures. It was never put into the library, but no one can
Read it.
decipher what is actually written in this book.
No one.
It was written hundreds of years,
Before.
prior to the Third Age, and it was written. It appears to be written both in code and in a long dead language. But because of its age and how well it's been maintained, the Lord very much.
I believe he would want Paladin of Heronius to take the Heronius book.
Nice. Can I wield
Well,
that
you can
longsword
take
if
whatever
I
you
have a
want.
strength of 0?
You can. Anybody can wield a longsword as long as you have proficiency in it.
You're just like, eh.
Just
Well, it's the same guy who's using the
I have a.
bow that he gets a
No,
-1.
Not anymore.
Not
I didn't
anymore.
know where it was from, but it was looks like it's loot from a dagger, longsword, full plate, and steel shield.
That was from the vampire,
Okay.
and Belville took the longsword.
Can he identify that stuff or no?
I can.
He can look at it. None of it glowed magical before, so
Not
the
him.
longsword did.
Not
but
him, the guy in charge of the tombs.
there's still one more.
Yeah.
round.
Are you going to
Right,
show that to
Yeah,
the
does this
captain?
look familiar to you?
He very clearly is distraught by it.
Yeah.
It's it's the Lord's battle armor and his sword and dagger and shield. He doesn't know much about it. The Lord took care of his own equipment. Only that he was very valiant in battle, and
So you
Was
just
the full plate, the Lord's full plate magical? Did we
No.
No.
All I know is
Sword.
magical is a longsword.
It's just
it's the longsword that Belville scooped up.
Right.
so he did nothing to help you, and you just brought him sadness. Good job.
Yeah.
Are there any arrows, quivers in the armory?
In the armory, yeah.
Okay.
So there's,
Not magical,
That,
though.
that was all of the.
No.
That
There's
was
one
all
more
the
door.
magic stuff in the magic
I thought I was
repository.
low. I have 60,
Show me
60
door
some
number
arrows, yeah.
5.
Yeah, let's check out door number 5 before I for sure take this book.
Am I in that room, or did you shun me completely?
Oh, you were shot.
You shunned me, but I just ignore
Taking
you.
this book, rip a page out.
You'll do what I say.
Alright. If I can,
Increase the quarters instead of the back.
try to sleight of hand one of the potions.
What did you roll?
20. The potion of cure light wounds.
I can't see what it is. It's behind the monitor.
An 8.
Okay, he doesn't see it. Do you guys want to roll spots to see if you see Mark stealing stuff?
Yes.
But it helps you guys. Just gonna point that out.
27.
I
didn't
see nothing.
It. I didn't see it.
Jordan will roll a 22, and Commodore rolled 19.
You guys can determine amongst yourselves. I don't know. Don't remember what you rolled. I just
He
know I
said that he
failed
rolled
it.
20 at the end. Like, he rolled a 10 and added up to 20.
Okay. So anybody who rolled over 20 sees Mark just
Blatantly.
not blatantly. He was very sneaky. 20 is very sneaky.
Not to these guys.
I'm just gonna walk up to you and be like, hey, you probably shouldn't do that.
Helps
and
us.
Then, and then just walk away. I said my piece.
I don't know why Jordan will be
Said it quietly.
It's like,
Okay.
Or at least what's he gonna do with that potion?
Sell it.
it's not worth that much.
I won't tell anyone if you drink this right now.
Chug.
But I have no wounds.
Alright,
Ooh, but I
let's
feel
check
great.
out the last room
Yeah,
Before-
what's in the last room?
before I decide to take the
As
book.
you get to the last door, and he says, "Within this room holds a most impressive treasure."
One thing. What was it? A cure light wounds?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Cursed.
Just
And he-
half-naked dwarf sitting there.
He, he kind of does his best to build up the suspense. It just by very slowly opening the lock. He opens the
Telling
lock,
us a story.
takes it off, and no one really knows how the treasures held within this room came to be in the house. And he goes through the story, he opens it.
It's a door. Hold his butt open.
It's a glory hole!
Where does that even come from? Like, what have you seen in your life to bring you to that place?
You're
in your
running
mind?
well, my friend.
Dwarf holding his butthole open.
As soon as you open the door, that's a dwarf butthole.
Did you walk in with your dad, like, starting a cellar or something like that? And it's just
Why is it winking? Oh.
flashed you back to that hairy starfish.
And this is the quality
It's the
content we provide.
most amazing treasure that no one knows where it came from.
Again, I don't get how you get dwarf.
And the door swings open. This room is slightly larger, and
Doors saying that.
and once again there's bars, and on the far end there's a large pedestal with a large red gem seated atop.
I want that.
Holy
What?
Dips.
I stab everybody and take it for myself.
Is it magical?
Oh, it's glowing with magic, yes.
We want that.
I was crying.
Yeah.
I'll carry it.
He just walks up and like,
I'm gonna
yep.
detect evil.
You're gonna detect evil.
Yes.
I'll carry
You
it.
definitely detect evil as well.
This thing's.
And as you guys,
Get it out of here.
file in and are looking at it,
Sleight of hand. Oh, never mind.
it's behind a gate. He's got to open the
Just
gate.
reach in there, just tip it off the pedestal, break it.
Like, it's not like from me to you
I know,
behind a gate.
okay.
It's like where your computer is behind a gate.
Okay, there's some distance. Throw a rope around it. Okay, crap, sorry.
This is what we want. This is what we came for.
This is what we came for.
Is anybody neutral? Okay.
I don't know what the fuck my name is.
Lawful good.
I don't know if I picked it.
I've been stealing shit constantly, so
Tomadrill's gonna say that wants that.
Okay. And the guard moves and begins to unlock the lock, and you see Rob make some gestures with his hands. And the room is filled with just a bright explosion of light. Like a huge explosion of light. Hence the reason Rob needed to be here for this fucking shit. Because his story was the important one. And you can feel shards of gem fly throughout the room. You can just hear the explosion. And obviously the captain of the guard is taken back. Kevin, your pureness, and you're just assaulted by this wave of just evil and death that is emitted by this. You're all very much blinded by the flash. And as your vision begins to return, you can see now there's just shards of gem scattered throughout the room out into the hallway.
You son of a bitch, Rob.
What the fuck?
I want to say, how did you know what my plan was?
Rob will go into an explanation at this point of his what he did. While he was in the library, he did research. Something you plebeians know nothing of.
Really not.
And basically,
Jordan's picking his nose.
he more or less he takes entirely too long and goes entirely too in depth about when the gem was created. The gem was created as an attempt to harness the powers of good and encase evil within it to banish it from the world. However, one of the wizards that was involved in this realized it was folly and kind of built in his own fail-safe, so to speak, to ensure that it didn't fall into the wrong hands, because it always has a tendency to fall into hands, and death and destruction has a tendency to follow it. And hence he knew at that point that it had to be destroyed. And that's why he was last to arrive, because he spent his entire day learning how to destroy it.
Well, now we don't have to try to give it to a god.
I was gonna try to sunder it with the super sword, so.
I'm gonna pull out my flip
Well,
phone and call up the druid. Be like, yeah, you're not getting your gem.
I am appalled. Appalled that I was lied to.
I'll clap him on the shoulder. Like this was the right
The right
Choice.
decision.
Shrug. What else is in the room?
Nothing that.
That was the only thing in the room.
Damn it!
Sorry
Sweep
for
up
your.
the shards. Those shards are probably worth something.
Just find shards and people and just be like, here, I'm gonna take that.
Nothing. The explosion didn't like
Impale.
send shrapnel into people.
You all take 43d6 damage.
The captain of the guard is obviously just like
And Tori's dead.
Choice dead.
he's just staring at your dead friend.
Wait, can we have Jory be like the Kenny of this group, or just every week he dies because whenever he doesn't show
I'll
up?
be at the point now where if I go in fucking sword and board, I have to be careful because something's gonna fucking murder me.
I'm
Okay.
going more into.
But he the lock is obviously off, and he doesn't even make an attempt to close it. He's like, "There's no reason to lock that anymore."
Or the
Sorry
shards?
about.
I guess I'll go take my
Surprise.
Heronius book.
Hey, we got you some more storage.
Yeah.
Can I get a quiver of arrows?
Yeah.
Yay.
All right, you took
What were the wands again? Oh, Cat's
Heronius
Grace
book.
and
Fox's Cunning.
25?
However many you want.
Hmm.
Just remember they're heavy.
100.
I mean, they're not that heavy, but they have weight.
Does anyone want the ring?
What did it do?
Water
Got water
walker.
walker?
I'm gonna give
What
that to
am I
Jorgen.
paying?
Yeah, somebody with heavy armor is probably. Instead of.
Yeah.
You don't lose ones, one that you stand away.
No.
No one else wants one of the wands. I'll take one. I don't know what else there is.
What were the wands again?
Cat's Grace and Fox Cunning.
Can a small steel shield like that be used as like a buckler for a medium person?
I guess. Why not?
So that would be, what is a buckler normally?
+1.
So this would be a +2.
Correct. Should be a +1 buckler.
That wouldn't be a bad thing for Tomadrill.
Probably not.
I'll grab one of the
There's
potions.
nothing in here.
Pick one, tell me to write down.
Although does a heavy steel shield count as,
You can use divine wands.
does that count as a,
Take invisibility.
Thank you.
It's acting as a buckler, so it's not going to cause arcane spell failure for you.
Did they take invisibility?
She's talking to him.
Oh, okay.
What were the divine wands again? There's
Cat's Grace and Fox Cunning.
I
Cat's
don't
Grace
know
is not
what
bad for,
Cat's Grace is
+4 to Dex. And Fox's Cunning is +4 to Int.
I don't need either of those.
Well, Hardy. The wands have a lot
I'd
of charges
say-
on them.
I'd say grip. For sure take both the wands.
I'll take one of the wands, I guess.
As you guys are bumbling about,
We'll
the
split
captain of the
wands
guard
between
is
the two
just like,
clerics.
I can see you're very indecisive. Please, I insist. It's much better handled by you guys since you've been so kind to leave the rest alone.
Giving us to all the magic items?
Well, it's not really that much.
No.
I kind of expected you guys to be loot whores and take it all, so.
Well, I'm trying to be
Well,
a good
we
paladin
have the
here.
paladin here to be our
hey, check it out, let's take it.
moral
I'm a-
Let's
compass.
gym room again.
I'm assuming that. Does anybody want the arcane scrolls, or should I just give them to Rob?
Rob's gonna be
He's the only one that can use them anyway.
No,
Like
you
UMD.
have UMD boys, and
That's true.
he could cast some. I'm just gonna note that.
That's true.
How are you guys gonna divide out the divine scrolls between the divine users?
You can get
Okay,
The
I'll start
next
with
one.
just start with scrolls. Bane. Who's taking Bane?
Batman.
We're just gonna go back and forth.
Couldn't-
Tabby, scroll of Bane.
okay.
Mark, scroll of Endure Elements.
Instead of it, fucking done with you guys. Take the loot.
Take what I give
Tabby,
you.
scroll of
Dex help you
Longstrider.
in your fucking...
Long strider?
No, my
Increases
dex is
movement
pretty
speed.
high.
It'd give you +2 to hit.
Let me know when you're
I
ready,
have
Mark.
18 dex.
Cure mod.
So.
Tabby, detect snares and pits.
Strength more than anything for me.
Well, the cat's grace would be helpful for me.
I was gonna take it on
Yeah.
Tomadrill,
Mark,
and then if anybody
locate
wants to
object.
cast on him,
Well, I mean, it just help my AC when I'm
that's
taking.
why.
What does that do?
Exactly for
It locates objects.
Yes.
I'm gonna trade you that later.
And then
It's max
put
anyways.
desecrate on one of your sheets because neither one of you is going to use it. So
She does want the locate object scroll.
Yeah.
Okay, you can take that and I'll take that straight then.
What do you mean?
That's great.
You can take a locate object.
+2 longsword.
Tom.
I grabbed the one they already had, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Commodore could carry it, but
Put it.
You're getting all this gear. You're gonna have to be on the front line. I'm just saying.
no. If one of
Can
the
I use a
Rangers wants to use
longsword?
it for melee,
For their
it would be
close
good.
attack.
I don't know if a bot maybe wants it.
Bot has the
Yeah,
axe.
he's got a
Okay,
great axe.
if you wanted to go sword and board.
I mean, I guess we can give Jory something when he comes to play.
Just
No.
put it on Tomadril's character sheet, and they can decide. You guys can decide to give it to him if you so choose.
Or if he's being
Late.
Dude, I do have the +1 flaming scimitar. He's a scimitar build. I do
Yeah.
have the +1 flaming scimitar still.
+2 longsword.
Potion of blur.
Sure. I'll take it.
You're the front line. It'd be helpful for you.
Potion of bull's strength.
I have that spell.
No, well, it's only a potion.
All right, I'll take that too then. I guess.
Yes.
Take that one. It'll only be for a little bit, so.
Potion of dark vision. Somebody who isn't an elf.
Uh,
Okay, Belville's taking that one. Potion of eagle splendor. I know it's going to be a cleric, bard, or paladin.
Eagle Splendor is what?
Charisma.
Bard probably.
Sure.
Yeah, it's more useful. I'll get like a good smite out of it one time, and
I probably would use it to, I don't know, if I had to cast spells or something like that.
The,
Or if you're trying
what
to
I
use
would use it for is
diplomacy.
when you're going to smooth.
Yeah.
yeah,
Smooth.
smooth talk somebody. That's,
Smooth talk.
Potion of jump.
Rogue.
Sure.
Potion of misdirection.
Is that a bard thingy?
Yeah.
It can be a bard thingy.
Okay.
Potion of remove fear.
That'd be good for a fighter.
I'm immune to fear effects, so.
Guess it's going to Jorgendal.
Jorgie.
Wand of cat's grace.
Tomadrill can carry him.
Fuck it, I'll take it.
Can you use it?
Yep. It's on the ranger spell list. And wand of fox's cunning.
Got stacks.
No, fox's cunning is
Int.
intelligence.
That's a Rob. Oh wait,
Okay.
it's not arcane.
All right, done.
The Master's Longsword,
Yes.
what? Plus anything?
You don't know.
He
It's
didn't.
magical. It glowed. Ross would know that it was glowy.
Alright,
Identify it.
Alright, let me
You have a
just.
pearl?
The guy didn't know it because he
Spent a
didn't
lot of
keep
gold
track
to
of
get
it.
pearls.
Like it was a.
Do
the
you
master.
do you want Rob just to use the scroll of identify?
Ooh.
Yep, we can just use that too.
You
Okay.
can do that.
Unless he's
Plus
gonna try
5 Vorpal.
to.
Damn it!
He's gonna be shrewd and
My-
keep it.
The reason I want to know if it's something useful, I'll keep it. If it's something that's going to be garbage, I'll just give it back to the house and say, here you go. Here's your Master's
It's
Sword back.
a
All
plus
right.
one longsword.
Okay. Which I believe I already have.
You had a masterwork longsword, I thought.
Adds damage now.
Yeah.
It adds to damage as well.
The dagger, full plate, and steel shield, are they just of different?
They're mundane, but they're just whatever. They're the family's.
Heirlooms.
Whatever. I'm giving the sword back to him.
Give him the sword and take the +2
He's
one.
like, "Argh!"
Do that.
You throw it at the
I'm
guy.
gonna take the sword, but I'm gonna give them back their full plate and steel shield since it probably has their crest on it. Or
Yeah.
something like that. But I'm keeping that sword.
Never found a sword. I don't know.
No, it's gone.
Turned to
So
dust
we
with
just
him.
swap swords. I got +2. Is that?
Yeah.
I heard you guys do that a lot.
Yeah. Can't judge us.
You make the
I'm not judging.
I'm gonna give him my long sword and try and pass it off and say, yeah, this is the only sword we found on him.
It's very clear that he doesn't. He's got bigger concerns on his plate right now.
But I tell him that we found this full plate. The dagger was also his dagger, and then the steel shield looks like it has your family crest on it. This could be something that is important
To you.
to an heir. Please take it. I don't want to carry it.
It's too heavy.
You can sell
Drop
it
on
if you
the
don't need
floor.
it.
That's gone. All right. Is there a ring slot on these character sheets?
I don't think so.
I doubt it.
Doesn't come in handy for whenever someone with
That's why I took it.
80 pounds of fucking metals is on that assume something.
Oh, Jorgendel's well into a heavy load.
Gross.
How many pounds am I carrying right now?
A very heavy load.
Yeah. It's
So yeah, I'm gonna take the
quite substantial.
Peronius book.
Oh, never mind. I'm only carrying 198.
Where's my
Can
pencil
Rob
go?
see it?
My fucking pencil back.
Fuck off. Potion of remove fear.
I'm gonna
Peek in it.
just I want to open up to the front page. I'm gonna look at the
Cover page.
first edition.
It looks. It's very much. He wasn't lying. It's very much written in something you've never seen.
Rob.
You look at the start, you look at the end, like, good book.
So Rob, figure
What are
this
the
out.
rings here? It's not down here.
I'll show him. I was like, would you be interested in deciphering this tome for me? But don't cast any of the spells because I need it.
He's obviously very interested.
Right.
Is it a ring of water walk?
Yes.
Ring of the Jesus.
Bevel, do you have both lighters now?
Yes, he
I
does.
must.
Body location.
Nice catch.